So 2012 is when there's election coming up. We do the vulture graffiti.
I still remember the vulture graffiti.
So we go around, and the vulture graffiti came about because we thought, how do we show greedy politicians, people who are like vultures, who take advantage of the poor, the weak, and the masses without putting a name. So we said to do vultures, and the vultures inspired by Kevin Carter photo in Ethiopia. No, Sudan actually. There was famine in Sudan, and there's a famous photo of a vulture stalking a child.
Yes.
So that's the inspiration of the vulture graffiti. So we did the vulture graffiti across Nairobi at night, guerrilla style, with the Spray Uzi team. That's Bankslave, Uhuru, Swift.
So at this time, when you guys are doing all this graffiti,
yes,
in a sense it's illegal.
Yes.
Not in a sense, it is illegal.
It is illegal, yeah.
That's why you're doing it in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Do the cops come for you the next day?
No, they came on later once, and I was arrested briefly, and then I released. And guess who comes to my rescue again? Mwite. But the graffiti was actually just trying to get guys to awaken to the idea that you can rise up, you can vote for different leaders, you don't have to vote for the usual suspects. And so we do this vulture graffiti across Nairobi. And so we're trying to get the masses to speak and rise up. That's now through Part 254. And then, so I was saying that year is when now I have these pictures. The defense comes to me to try and sway me. I said, no, I can't be able to do that. And you know, this world, I think bad guys always win, because the person who came to see me in my office is now the ICC prosecutor.
What?
Karim Khan. So fast forward, 2013 is coming up. I'm very opposed against an Uhuru presidency. And I remember voicing whatever happens, I just saying these things. And Uhuru is elected on March 4th. I was alone at Part 254. And I sat down and cried when he was elected. I thought, because the reason I was crying was because I was just thinking about the many people who died. These men were accused of these crimes. They're being charged in the ICC. Then they have been elected as president and co-president, or the president, deputy president. And so they get elected, I cry in the office, and then...
Had you ever sat down with Uhuru?
No. Never have I ever sat down with him.
Till today?
No, but he has written to me.
He's written to you?
He has approached me, and we'll come to that.
Okay, sir.
And so...
Had you sat down with Ruto?
No, never sat down with Ruto or Uhuru.
Okay.
So I get a call a day or 2 days later. Guess who calls me? Bruce Othiambo. Because you know, it was like, Bruce, niaje, Boni, niaje. Me, I want you to take a photo of the president. His official portrait. And I said, no. You see now, between when I left the Standard and 2013, I'm known as a very good photographer.
Yeah.
I'm doing portraits, I had my own studio. I had done covers for magazines. So he calls me and says, I said, no. I said, we don't share values. So I declined to go and take his portrait.
What did Bruce say?
No, he respected my decision. Alisema tu, it's an opportunity, these guys are young, nini, but to me I was judging him from his past. And so a friend of mine went and took that picture, Emmanuel Jambo. Yeah, went and took that picture.
That's the level that you had gotten to Boni?
Yes, I was there.
As a photographer, you were the go-to photographer to take the presidential portrait.
So they were looking, who can I take, who's a Kenyan photographer? Because the previous photos of the president done by David Beatty, who is a white photographer. So they wanted to change that narrative and get a Kenyan photographer. And they thought, who else? And my work was good. You see, I'm not yet demonized as an activist.
I get, at this time.
I don't have a bad name. So when these guys got elected...
That's where your name changed.
Now, before Uhuru goes to State House and is president, a year or two, when there was Facebook and there was fights online, me and a guy called Itumbi used to fight a lot online. Because he was very Kibaki, he was everywhere. And so me and Itumbi used to go at each other. So when Itumbi goes to State House, he sets this digital thing.
Yes, PSU.
Yeah, that nonsense. And the first thing they do is say, civil society took Uhuru to the Hague. And civil society is evil society. And they start a campaign to discredit activists. And so if you look before, in this country, before 2013, before these guys were elected, if you're an activist, but you are not demonized, you're not called a puppet of the West, you're not called a Muzungu thing. There's nothing like that. It's that you're independent, you have a free mind, and you're your own person. But now...
Let me ask.
Yes.
Tell me some of the activists who were in Kenya prior to you. Wangari Maathai, yes.
There's Wangari Maathai, there's Gitobi Manyara, there's Willy Mutunga, there's Kivutha Kibwana, there's Betty Morioki. It's called, who's Orengo's partner is called Betty who? Orengo's wife. Betty, it's Betty Morioki. There's Cyprian Nyamwamu, there's Kepta Mbati, there's Salome, there are many, DK, there's so many, there are many of them. There's Wahome Mutahi, was an activist, even spent time in detention. There were many of them.
Okay, then of course even it goes all the way to the Railas, the Matibas, the Railas and
those were not politician activists.
Okay.
Yeah, they were politicians.
Okay. Yeah,
but the guys were just not in office and who were just activists. But look here. So when these guys get elected, they have an agenda. Anyone who ever said anything against us suffers. And now let's talk about how artists lost. 2013, before the elections, Eric Wenaina wrote an article. And so I'm not seen like a civil society person. But 2013, before the elections, civil society comes together, because now I ran Part 54, and they say, we need to take a side and do a statement supporting Raila Odinga. And I said, no, you can't do that. And I sit in and say, you can't do that because you're going to be taking sides, and you shouldn't be taking sides. So that doesn't happen. But when Uhuru and Ruto became Uhuru and Raila run in this country, and Ruto. But when Uhuru...
Ruto is out.
So Uhuru and Raila run in this country. So when Uhuru and Ruto become...
Ruto is publicly out. Privately, he's got...
So when Uhuru and Ruto take over this country, anyone who did anything or wrote anything about them is targeted. One of the biggest casualty in the last now 9 years of Uhuru administration...
Media.
Forget even about media. Eric Wenaina did an op-ed for the Star saying that he cannot vote for suspects of crimes against humanity. An editorial with this picture. And because of that, Eric Wenaina has never performed on a government function. They don't allow him anywhere. When they were doing Kenya at 50, they didn't even allow him near there. Guys like Julian Newsant Basha Ocampo are like, Wewe. You know, such things. So they start targeting media and artists. So you have either align or you lose out. Now, the other level of effort is now, you know, instead of discrediting the message, you discredit the messenger.
First of all, do you think they have that power to discredit on the... Okay, yes, I mean, they are the power.
They control the narrative.
Do you think...
They have sheep following. So, 2013, we start organizing, right? So we organize. The first thing when Uhuru becomes president in March, by April, members of parliament are asking for a pay rise. And so we decide to go again to another public event in 2013 and protest the one for Atuoli. Where I go there for Atuoli thing, I go with my friends. And the one for Atuoli, it was well thought. We had said, I went that morning, I called a friend of mine called Alfie. And
what happened at the one for Atuoli?
That's what I want to tell you.
Okay.
So I call a friend of mine called, I say, hey, Niaji, nataka ma 50 bobs. So I say, nataka mob. So I go change, kimfurushi cha pesa, say we're going to go to the Atuoli thing. We're going to heckle from different spaces. Then we're going to throw money everywhere. And then there'll be confusion. Kenyans. So you go to Atuoli thing, and I stand up, then I see some big guys coming to chase me. And I ran away, and then now my friends were supposed to start throwing my money. My friends did not throw the money. They don't even stand up. Oh, bro, I'm left there. Yeah, I'm arrested again. I'm beaten, taken to court. That was on
Where was he speaking? You're speaking on...
Labor Day celebrations,
yes,
1st May. And then...
Where was the event?
At Uhuru Park.
Okay.
So another beating. But now, 13 days later, we organize and deliver pigs to parliament.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was huge.
So
pigs.
Pigs. So we did the pigs to parliament, and then
how are you doing this? First of all, or maybe you don't want to say this on camera because you don't want them.
Ask.
Okay. First of all, how are you organizing the people? Secondly, how are you organizing the funding? So you've got to buy pigs. And even this one I've seen. In fact, here's a clip. but firstly, tell us.
So for the pigs, actually, I don't know if I'm liberty to say that because someone else gave us money who then was actually in government, now is no longer in government. So they was able to see this. Now I have a space where I have this. I'm creating a community, and I'm able to call guys for money and say, Nyaje, do you have this money? Give it to me. And in Patia, I tell guys, I have this painting. It's worth 10,000. Pay me 100,000 for the painting. The money is gonna go to this. So there's this community.
So they're believers of this.
So you have believers, you have guys.
Yes.
But
people who don't want to stand up, but they can stand up through
their money,
through their finances.
Money. Guys print for you t-shirts. So now it's doing this community. So there's this community of activists where we did pigs to parliament.
How are you guys communicating? What's up?
No physical meetings.
Oh, nice.
So we do those protests in 2013.
How are you recruiting people?
So how am I recruiting? Power. We had every Tuesday we had off the record at Power 254. We had hip hop Thursdays. We had poetry. So there's this young community of guys coming to Power who believe we can change this country. We're building a community.
Okay.
But as long as we're building this community, the government is working every day to discredit us.
Okay.
So one time, that's 2013. So this is actually what happens. These are create very, very many powerful enemies. We have a website called Vulture. Vulture is a story on Chris Kirubi, Uhuru, Ruto, Raila, Madakarua, Peter Kenneth, Kabogo, Sonko. We write stories about all of them, the political profiles. So threats and threats and threats and threats.
So these threats come directly to you?
Yes, phone calls, threats and threats. To a level where we stopped publishing the website.
What?
Because it was too much.
I read that when Chris Kirubi died. I read an article that you wrote
Kirubi.
about that.
And how do I meet Kirubi? So Kirubi wants to talk to me because I did a story about him. He calls Larry Mado. So Larry Mado and I go to see him because he knew Larry Mado from media. I don't know where they'd met. And I sit down with Kirubi there. And then Kirubi says, why are you writing about me? Why are you not writing about these many Indians who are doing tax evasions? And he's talking to me in Kikuyu. Kambi, I don't care if you're recording. I wasn't recording. What is it? Did I eat your goat? What is wrong with you? And then he tells me, me, I can't sue you. Because they're telling me you have a right of reply. I can't sue you. Why would I sue you? But I can harm you. So that was the threat. So there's this demonization. Then I make a mistake. I go on TV. It wasn't a mistake. I just been truthful for an interview with James Smart. Was it James Smart? Yes, it was James Smart. I do an interview and I say that I used to make money. I used to do very well. Safaricom was one of my clients. I said, but now since Uhuru became president and I criticize the government, Bob Collymore doesn't even talk to me or something like that. Bob Collymore is livid and he stops talking to me. My kids, they used to go to Bob Collymore's house to swim. We'll go there for his parties. But I'm cut off now. So now the government decides, you know what, we're going to discredit the messengers.
So you were wrong about Bob Collymore.
Was I wrong about Bob Collymore?
No.
I wasn't wrong because...
when you say you make a mistake...
No, I shouldn't have criticized a friend publicly. And I think it's something that you should never do. If someone is your personal friend, and you feel like you have a bond to pick with them, tell them privately. So for example, I wouldn't sit here and criticize Larry Mado as a friend because I can call him and tell him on the phone or in person. I have his number. He's my friend. However, I can criticize a stranger because I don't know how to get hold of a stranger. Umeelewa?
Yeah.
So
what you're saying was factual.
It was factual.
It's just you said it on
the platform.
Yeah.
And it was livid. And that's a story for another day. So now, they decide to discredit the messengers. They say, so Uhuru Kenyatta and his digital team and Ruto digital team, they decide, who among these people in this country, who are these people in this country who are going to give us trouble for the next 5 years? And they wake up to discredit us. The people who call me names every day have never met me.
It's true.
They have no idea who I am. They don't even know I was a photographer.
Yep.
They don't even know what I do for a living.
It's true.
But if you ask, they will say Muzungu pays him.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
I'm like, what Muzungus? Because this country, but we're moving too fast. So, look, so they decide to discredit. So when you do a protest, they say we're being funded to undermine the government. So 2013, I get many threats.
Hold on, Boni. Slow down a bit. My question now. I always want to go back to the emotional state of the person and the surroundings around them. At this time, has your second child come?
Yes, my second born was born in...
Your daughter?
My daughter was born in 2010, and our last born was born in 2011.
So at this time...
Right, Nate? Yes.
You have all your kids?
So I have all my
including
kids.
Nate here, who is now a big boy.
Yeah, my son who's here on set. So by 2011, I have my last born.
So, okay.
So
that's...
2012, I'm a father of 3. I'm barely 27. I became a dad at 23.
Yo.
By 27, I have 3 kids and no more kids.
So that's what I'm trying to understand. Boni, how do you do this? It's Boni against the state in under Power 254 against the state. How are you doing emotionally? Because, dude, I've got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Even doing this interview with you, after when you interview you, I'm just like, yo, it's Boni who has said. No, but I'm joking. But I'm just like, how do you do it? Because it's...
So at that time, I'm very idealistic. I am burning with passion, man. I'm burning with ideas. I think we can have a revolution. But now, I'm in a space where, I get a lot of flack for civil society. Because I don't even run an institution wrong. I'm not in any organization. 2013, when Uhuru is elected as president, he has this charm offensive inviting media and everyone else. And there was a retreat by civil society. And he said, these guys want to be in power for the next 5 years. What can we do? And I went into that room as a photographer and as an activist and as an artist. And civil society dismissed us, the artists. They didn't see where art would play and bring about change.
I get it.
They couldn't see it. They did not see.
But they were probably not artists.
They want log frames and other things that even me I don't understand. And so 2013 is when you do the pigs protest. We do the pigs protest. We deliver blood in parliament. All those very colorful protests where we're bringing art into protest. We're trying to show people that you can package the message and make it very powerful. That you can show that members of parliament greediness is equivalent to pigs. And pigs, if you're a Muslim, it's haram. And haram is wrong and is a sin. So you're just trying to do this very colorful protest for guys to get this. And you're growing as a movement and you're growing in numbers.
That response for that one was crazy.
Yes, but now, so when the growth comes, then you have personal threats. So when there's personal threats, you realize these guys can kill you. So you slow down. So you actually puncture your own wheels. You puncture your speed and say, let me slow down.
Well, you weren't arrested for that one?
No. We were arrested, actually. The matter is still somewhere in the courts 7 years later. So we were arrested for that. But now, so you see...
But that one got the attention of the powers that be. Because you went to...
Because how do you
took it to their home.
How do you smuggle pigs to parliament and you have National Intelligence Service? How do they deliver a truckload of pigs outside parliament and the police didn't know about it? So we bring a lot of drama into these streets and into the protests.
Were you arrested?
That day we arrested 17 of us. And guess what? You know what's interesting about all my friends? So like Brian Inganga, who works for AP, Elijah Kanyi works for African Uncensored, and Rito, who's my close friend, who was his best man. His wife was arrested that day. Like everyone around me have either been arrested or been a politician because of me, like everyone. So when we began protesting and going out to the streets, the people that were going out are people that I knew and mentoring. So there was that mentorship of guys, let's do this together. This is the message. Let's grow. It's amazing. Actually, when I look at the space, I look at Nerima Wako, Siasa Place. She discovered her true calling at Power 254.
Nice.
In an event coming there. And she met her husband at the same space. Like the guys who got married, like Power was that place where idealists and revolutionists came to meet and to make love and to make music and to have a good time. So Power became the community where we were bringing these people together.
What's your definition of a revolutionist? What were you guys trying to, not war, what are you trying to achieve?
I think revolutionary thought. Like we are not calling for street revolution. We are calling for a ballot revolution. We're saying let's come and open your mind and give you a political education to understand what you're fighting for. So when you go out there, you're a believer of why you're doing what you're doing. That you're doing this for you, for your kids, and for the future of our country. So it was a political school. So it was like it's a place for revolutionary thought.
I get what you
and
mean.
Revolutionary idea that if you believe we can change this country, then you belong at Part 254.
So things like if you believe corruption can end, and you are part of the people who will help bring about that change, how do we instill this thinking to you? If you believe leaders need to be servants,
yes,
and this is their role, you put them in for them to bring positive change into the community, into the county, wherever they may be put. They're not there to steal. If you believe guys who steal in power need to be jailed for life, this you get what I mean? Those kind of ideologies, what you are trying to.
Yes, and also believe in the power of yourself, so that you're not alone. So my journey when I began as an activist, 1st January 2009, I was alone. When I got expelled from school, I was alone. I'd suffered as alone, and I thought if I'd belonged to a community, they would have defended me. So let's create that community. So when your parents think you're crazy, you can run to a place where they think you're not crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So in a place where it was like an underground movement.
At this time, is Njeri supportive?
Now Njeri is starting to get into the groove. Now, because now she's at power. So 2030, 2040, she's getting into this idea that it's possible.
Okay.
And she's becoming part of the community, and now she's part of power, and now she's.
How you? Okay, I heard you talk about crowdfunding. So is that still how you're funding your day-to-day meals? So now
2013, 2014. So you see, I'm still a very good photographer. So I'm still shooting.
You've not been cancelled.
But now, there's now a deliberate attempt to tarnish our reputations. And when they spent 2013, 2014 saying demonizing civil society, blaming them for the Hague process, and saying that they chose people who they are going to target with that story. And I was one of the unfortunate victims of being targeted. So from being a witness of the violence and documenting the violence,
oh man,
I became a target of all this propaganda. So very deliberate propaganda.
Give me an example. What does that mean? What does that look like in layman?
So when people say I sold dead pictures of Luos or Kikuyus, or when people say I'm paid by the West or I'm donor funded, they delegitimize your voice. Because now instead of them attacking the message and me and them fighting over ideas, they attacked me as a person. And it has been very deliberate. Like they attacked and attacked and attacked to a level where Kenyans now believe that fighting for truth or justice or equality and equity is a foreign idea. So Kenyans think when you stand up for what you believe in, you're being paid to do that. Because they're so afraid and so cowardly, they can't believe they can stand without getting paid. So when you tell guys, let's rise up and protest, say, how much are you paying?
Oh, man.
So Kenyans have turned protest and standing up for their own personal rights into a business.
Okay, let me ask you real talk, Boni.
Yes, sir.
Are you paid to do protests?
No, I'm not paid. Paid by who?
Okay, you recently did a protest with the Israeli against Palestine-Israel thing. Were you paid for that?
No, I just showed up. I didn't even know. I was told a protest has been organized. I wore a kanzu. I wore a face mask, went, protested, then went home. And that's the reason why, when they were coming to arrest me, I ran away. You know, the problem with Kenyans, and this is what's so sad, the oppressors have made you believe people who protest are paid to a level where you're so oppressed you can't stand up for your own personal rights. That's the reason why, if you look at my timeline every single day, I'm sharing people's problems, not even mine.
Even right here, you had to stop.
Yes.
When we were shooting, when we were having lunch, you were like, before we go back, I need to share
something about someone that has happened to someone. Because people have forgotten. So people have decided to outsource their anger to activists and other people. But everyone should be an active citizen. So now, people think if you're not being paid, if you don't have a lawyer, you can't stand up. So people don't fight for their own rights. So Kenyans are just walking dead, walking oppressed, walking sufferations, and they can't do that because right now the only thing they know is to say bora uhai. But uhai gani na unaishi maisha ambayo umedhulumiwa sana? You're
walking dead.
You're walking dead. You're so oppressed. You're suffering. You're unemployed. You're sick, but you can't raise your voice because you don't want to be insulted. So they decided to target people like me.
Okay.
And now let me tell you where this is going.
Yeah, let's go.
So we sit down. I said to do something called Depa mentality. Kenya
I saw
50.
that one, yes.
And we did a song called Fota Sheria. They should follow the law. We do a song and we said call for State of the Nation protest. So State of the Nation protest was supposed to be a concert. And this now I understand how intelligence works in this country. So civil society in this country, there's some organizations that are either employees or partners are Kenya intelligence. It's a state. So the reason why the pig protest 1 and 2 succeeded because there was no civil society involved in the surprise element of that. But now, because we have delivered pigs to parliament, we delivered coffins.
That can't ever happen again.
Burnt coffins in parliament, we think we're invisible. Now we start sharing plans. We say, on February 13th, 2014, you're going to stand up.
It's like right now they know you're doing a CTA.
Yes. You're going to stand up and you're going to bring this country to a standstill. And we plan. I go talk to Reverend Timothy Joy, he's going to deliver a sermon. I go talk to Eric Wenena, he's going to perform. I go to Heart the Band. I go to Blinky Bill. I organize. And so the whole idea is to organize a concert outside Parliament.
Oh.
But now, we had learnt from the first 2 protests that we could get, if we do a protest very well enough, we're going to get live coverage. Because the big protest was live on TV, not TV stations. So now we decide to plan. February 13, we're going to have a protest outside Parliament, and it's a sermon of State of the Nation. So we organize and we plan. And then we wake up on that particular day, and I'm so fired up, we're going to do this today. And then we get to Freedom Corner. No, I get a call in the morning that the protest can't happen because there's a plan to overthrow the government. And this I've never shared anywhere. So our plan wasn't to overthrow the government, but there was a statement from the National Security Council that Bonnie M, John G, and a cleric are planning to overthrow the government on this particular day. That was February 13, 2014. And it was called the Love Protest. It was a State of the Nation Love Protest, something like that. State of the Nation Love. So we get to Freedom Corner, and there are police like this. So there's a lady called, so there's Patricia Mudheo, who is now the MCA from Mlango Kubwa. She's supposed to come with a squad from Mathare like this. We guys are coming from Power like this. Then we're carrying very big babies, my toddlers, State of the Nation. Then our plan is to march to Parliament. And then we had a vehicle to come and set up a concert. Now, our idea for that particular day was to do a concert, State of the Nation, everyone is there, address Parliament. As we're doing that, guys who are watching home will see. Then when you get thousands and thousands of Kenyans showing up, we take over Parliament. And we go in.
You guy.
So so the plan was so Eric Wenena will be there. So when Timothy Joy stands up to talk about, and he had a very good sermon. And he was supposed to go there and start praying for this country and saying this country needs to change. Now we get people showing up, and then we occupy Parliament because we knew very well we want to be shot on live TV.
What? Me, in fact, I'm wondering, I'm scared of being shot.
No, we knew if you're on live TV and you get thousands of people showing up there, no one will be shot. But now,
you didn't think these guys are crazy enough to shoot you?
No, they won't, because you're on live TV. They need an order. They can't do that. And now what happens now? So among the people that you're planning together, the takeover of Parliament, it leaked. And that's when the government woke up and said, these people are planning to overthrow the government. So they never let us leave Freedom Corner. We never left Freedom Corner.
They just blocked. They put a...
We were beaten and tear gassed. No, we never left Freedom Corner. The protest was over in minutes. We had planned for almost an entire year.
What?
An entire year, how are you going to take over parliament? Like you said, you're going to go around parliament. We are going to have music. And because we had learned because the previous year we done pigs protest where...
You learned from Trump.
No, Trump learned from me.
You guy, so are ballsy.
And that's before Burkina Faso did the same thing. When Compaoré left, they burnt the Burkina Faso parliament. So that's before Burkina Faso did the parliament as well. We had said we just need, because we knew the parliament doesn't have enough police officers.
Hey, Bonnie, I'm listening to you talk and I'm scared.
And I'm just saying, we just need to invade parliament and then make our demands from the speakers.
You get that? You remind me. Okay, let me ask you this question. Are you... Bonnie, you're talking... I'm scared. I'm like, can I even publish this? But it's your story.
Yeah, you can
this,
publish.
As I said at the beginning, these are your views. But my thing is, like, you're talking and my heart is racing.
It was racing. We had...
And this is behind the camera.
Me and Shamit, because I remember that day, and I went home with injuries that day because I was arrested. Then I fell when I was running away. I remember Shamit saying we might go there and we might die.
That's the thing.
So because our plan was we were the ones who were going to breach the gate.
Oh my God.
So he had said, but he also had a plan B. And the plan B was, we knew very well, people just fear human waste. People fear shit. They just fear shit. So we had a shit protest as well planned. And it was said, when you get there and it's around that place, all you need to do is get buckets and chokoras to open the manholes around parliament and start throwing sewer. Because when you throw sewer, people move away. Then you bring down the gate.
Let me ask you, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Like, this convo has shocked me. First and foremost, like I'm scared. I'm scared not about the interview. I'm scared about the lives. Okay, how do I ask this question? Do you feel scared about the lives that you're going with? Like, you are the leader of this thing.
True, you see the people that I work for every protest. If you look at the protest, the people that are around me, people that I know, and so the guys we planned with, they knew what you're planning to do. They knew what is at risk, what will happen to us if it goes wrong. So we all knew that. However, and we knew we just need to get down, and we all get into parliament and start making demands.
Okay, number 2, do you believe that change would happen if, let's say, you are successful in doing that?
Yes.
It goes all according to plans. You pull a... I keep calling it a Trump because that's exactly what it was.
No, Trump refused to concede defeat.
Okay. It's not a Trump. This was
citizens demanding what they deserve.
Do you think that it would bring about change?
It would actually have. You see, we're building up from the pig protest, the second Occupy Parliament. So Occupy 1, Occupy 2. Now we're doing this was Occupy 3, but this was love protest. We even call it love protest.
Yeah.
To avoid, you're saying you love this country.
Yes.
So it's love protest. You love this country.
It.
So you can't shoot people for loving their country.
Bonnie.
And then we make love demands because Kenya was turning 50. So your idea was to occupy parliament and now make demands. And you see what, and the other thing you do, you put the fear in parliamentarians and everyone in office that you're not untouchable anymore. But now that morning,
they knew.
They released a memo that there's a plan to overthrow the government.
So now you are arrested again? Or
yes,
you
and then I was arrested.
So why don't they keep you
And then I jumped off the vehicle and ran away.
While it was moving?
Yes, moving vehicle.
Put that on Twitter. Believe in the country. You know what I'm going to start doing? If I start... Ended too quick, huh?
I was planning to be there the whole day.
Guys disappeared, man.
So tomorrow you go to court. Tomorrow is Friday.
Tomorrow is Friday.
I have another court case. God.
And if they keep them there, casual.
But if they arrest them today, they have to take them to court tomorrow.
I have to go, yeah. Or maybe they'll be released today, most likely. Problem is, if I go to the cops room today, I'll get
Don't go there.
So I'll go to court.
Can we go to Power?
No, we
From
can't.
there we drive my car. We go to your place because my car is there.
Do you have another T-shirt?
In my car.
The problem is if you drive into Power and you find them there.
We can call Kevin.
Do you have your car keys?
I have my car keys here.
I can get the car for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, why don't these cops just lock you up
Because
and pull a Mandela on you?
the law doesn't allow that.
So
Under the new constitution, I have the right to bail. Under the old constitution, before 2010, I would have gone to jail and get detained. But now, I have the right to bail. Because right now, you see, there's a presumption of innocence before, there's a presumption of innocence.
Yes, until guilty.
But you see now, in the old constitution, when during Moi days, you don't even have to, they would actually arrest you and detain you without trial.
Oh, and it would be legal.
It was illegal, but they had a way to legalize it.
I get it.
They had magistrates and judges who would actually do anything. Or they torture you, you appear and you confess. But now we had fought for this space. The guys who had fought for this space had paid a heavier price. From the Nyayo, torture chambers, to me being allowed to stand up and say the things that I say even today.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So 2014, that fails. And that's where Kenyans would say, I said I quit activism. Or I said, Kenyans are not worth dying for this. Some people say that. But I took a step back because now the threats were more. Because the government knew what we planned to do. So it became very targeted.
And at this time, has the president ever reached out to you?
He wrote to me, but the president wrote to me in 2015.
Okay, and we'll get there.
Asking me to work with him. I can read for you what he wrote to me. So I thought my phone was off.
It's okay, you can answer and we'll come back.
Sema.
Hello?
Niaje?